Hello there, I'm Callum Johns and welcome to the EU in Review, where I review the Star Wars Expanded Universe as I experience it. This time I'm going to be continuing on with the classic Marvel Star Wars run. We're going to be talking about issues 64 to 66. I'll get straight into my notes that I took as I read it. So issue 64 is written by Michael Fleischer and David Michelini and illustrated by Joe Brzezowski and Vince Coletta. So there's some different names in there. It's cool. Interesting pronunciations. So this one is the first appearance of Sefidi, which is a planet. There's lines over the text bubble in one panel that I found really hard to read. And 3PO's face is weird in another panel. It's odd. But they had a really nice shot of the ship leaving, and there was some really nice shading on the hood jib that they did. I appreciate that, it's really cool. And Cinder Tar Heel's crash landing is very cool. So they're putting a bit of a focus on a different pilot in the Rebellion, which is really nice to do. And they're not all focusing on Luke and Leia and that. They're starting to focus on some of the other characters, which I really like. Of course, you have Luke in Leia, but yeah. And here's where we get a little bit quirky. They have energy bolts coming from lances, like the old medieval lances. Yeah, how? I'd like to see like a cross-section diagram of how that's set up to work. It's cool. They also ride lizards, which I thought also George Lucas may have seen this and done his own version for the Varactyl in Revenge of the Sith that Obi-Wan rides. It's really cool that actually may have a connection there. There's an interesting history for Sefidi, and it's also really nice how they show the culture of Sefidi and the Sefidians and how it mixes medieval with science fiction. And I like how they explain that actually technology was the cause of their wars, and so they went back. It's nice. And Cinder reminds me of Leia as a strong female character fighting her way out of situations. It's really cool to see. And it's a bit odd to see lizard people dressed up in jester outfits and knight's armor. It's really funny actually. I mean, it makes sense in a way, but also you just sort of laugh at it. It's good. Issue 65 is written by David Michelini and illustrated by Walt Simonson and Tom Palmer. And this is showing the aftermath of the Shira Bree storyline, which I did in the last video. This is Luke's trial. I was wondering if it's actually better to go straight to this rather than have the issue in between, that it was a short separate adventure. It's like, the last issue didn't matter as much. Why didn't they show this so that the plot lines all connected into one? Make this issue 64 and the other one's issue 65. Oh well. Shows the aftermath of the Shira Bree storyline here anyway. It's a cool idea to have the rocks gathering light when hot and then release the light when they're cool, and it basically works like a hologram. It's a really cool idea to have that thing in there. Leia flies a Y-wing herself. I don't know really why they've given her a bit more of a pilot role when she isn't really a pilot herself. Anyway, that's what they do. And Leia going on her own to try and blow up Golrath Station is a bit silly really. Should have at least had a team to do it. Of course. That's what Leia does. She goes off on her own. She's a strong female character. We know how well that worked before. In the Marvel comics, she got captured. Anyway, there's a panel, there's a whole page of this. There was the narration of the Stormtroopers as Leia knocks them out. That was a really cool bit. It was funny. That was cool. I really like it. GL's resolution to die with Leia is an interesting twist that they did. That they're not going to leave her behind in that. And there's a cool twist at the end with Luke's hyperdrive failing, and so it leaves it into what will happen to him. And then issue 66, written by David Michelini, illustrated by Tom Palmer. And this is the first appearance of Behemoth. Sand lice appear in some of Luke's food after he crash landed. And it must be the real reason that Anakin doesn't like sand, if he has sand lice. And the Tirith is an interesting creature that they introduced in this comic, this issue. And Luke has his lightsaber again, as he shouldn't. Now, they did resolve the story here, and these are all just sort of bits and pieces that aren't part of a bigger storyline. But yeah, these were all pretty fun. Gotta say the standout of these have to be issue 64 though, with the lizard people and dressing up, and a completely different world they go into. But I feel like they could have given it a couple more issues to explore the world a bit more there. The storyline works well enough, but it would have been really nice to give it a bit more space and expand on the story a bit more, give it a bit more depth. And yeah, same with all of basically issue 66, Luke crashes and he gets picked up again. Pretty standard plot line for this stuff. But yeah, what do you think of these comics? I don't have much else to say, but I'm really enjoying them as I go along for what they are. It's cool. So yeah, that's all the time I have for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.